Alright, let's set the scene. Today is September 9th, 2025. Imagine you're trekking through one of the most remote and rugged landscapes on Earth. We're talking about the Dzungarian Alatau Mountains in southeastern Kazakhstan. This is a place where civilization feels a million miles away. The wind whispers secrets, the mountains hold stories older than time itself. A group of explorers, fueled by a thirst for adventure, were doing just that. They weren't looking for lost treasure. They weren't looking for ancient artifacts. They were there to experience the raw, untamed beauty of the Kazakh wilderness, a place that few outsiders ever get to see. Their cameras were rolling as they navigated the challenging terrain, capturing breathtaking vistas of jagged peaks. Then, something appeared on the horizon that stopped them dead in their tracks. It was completely out of place, yet it looked like it belonged. Carved into the face of a massive rock cliff was what appeared to be a perfectly symmetrical man-made doorway. It was immense, dwarfing anything they had ever seen. The explorers couldn't believe their eyes. A moment of pure, unadulterated discovery. The structure was stark and imposing against the natural chaos of the mountainside. It wasn't just a crack or a fissure. It looked deliberate. Clean lines, sharp angles. The top was a flat lintel. The sides were straight vertical jambs, a perfect rectangular opening that seemed to lead into the very heart of the mountain. It was dark inside, a void of shadow that beckoned with mystery. The explorers approached cautiously, hearts pounding with excitement and trepidation. What had they stumbled upon? Was it a lost tomb, a forgotten temple, or something else entirely? They filmed everything, voices a mix of awe and disbelief. The scale was hard to comprehend. This wasn't a human-sized door, it was a gateway for giants. The sheer size and isolation raised more questions than answers. Who could have built this? Why? Out here in the middle of nowhere. The discovery felt monumental, a secret whispered from the ancient world. They knew immediately they'd found something the world needed to see. Let's zoom in on the scene. Picture standing at the foot of this colossal structure. The rock around it is weathered and ancient, covered in lichen, scarred by millennia of wind and ice. It's a typical mountain face, raw and chaotic. But then there's the doorway. It looks almost like it was cut with a laser. The precision is that jarring. The opening is a perfect rectangle of darkness, a stark contrast to the sun-drenched rock surrounding it. It gives you the feeling that if you were to step through, you wouldn't just be entering a cave. You'd be stepping into another place, maybe even another time. The sheer presence of it is humbling. The explorers who found it describe the feeling as surreal. One moment they were on a simple expedition, and the next they were standing before something that defied all logical explanation. They walked up to the threshold, their footsteps echoing in the vast emptiness of the landscape. Peering inside, they saw nothing but impenetrable blackness. The air flowing out of the opening was cold, carrying an earthy scent of deep stone and dampness. It felt ancient, like the mountain itself was breathing. There were no visible tool marks, no inscriptions, no clues to its origin, just the silent, imposing gate. The landscape itself adds to the enigma. The Dzungarian Alatau Range is a formidable barrier of rock and ice, separating Kazakhstan from China. It's a place of stark and dramatic beauty, where nature reigns supreme. To find something so seemingly artificial in this pristine wilderness is what makes this discovery so electrifying. It doesn't fit. It's like finding a brand new smartphone in a dinosaur fossil. The explorers felt it, the sense that they were on the edge of a profound mystery. Once the footage hit the internet, it was like lighting a match in a fireworks factory. The video spread like wildfire across every social media platform imaginable. Within hours, millions had seen it. The caption was simple. A doorway to where? That was all it took. People's imaginations went into overdrive. The comments section became a global brainstorming session, with theories ranging from the plausible to the utterly fantastic. The mystery of the Kazakh doorway had officially gone viral, and everyone had an opinion on what it could be. The most popular theory, hands down, was that this was definitive proof of ancient aliens. Commenters immediately drew parallels to other mysterious structures around the world, like Pumapunku in Bolivia or the pyramids of Egypt. The argument was simple. No primitive human culture could have created such a massive, precise structure in such a remote location. It had to be the work of extraterrestrial visitors. People imagined it as a hangar for a spaceship, a portal to another dimension, or a marker left behind by a starfaring race that visited Earth thousands of years ago. The hashtag Alien Doorway was trending worldwide. The speculation was wild and wonderful. Some people were convinced it was a dormant stargate, waiting for the right activation key. Others believed it was the entrance to a hollow Earth, a gateway to a subterranean world of advanced beings. Memes popped up instantly, showing everything from ET to the Predator peeking out from the dark opening. The conversation wasn't just about aliens, it was a full-blown explosion of creative and imaginative thinking. People were genuinely excited by the possibility that our world might be more mysterious and magical than we're told. It was a global campfire story for the digital age. Of course, with excitement comes debate. For every person who saw an alien portal, there was another who cried, "Hoax!" Some accused the explorers of using digital effects to create the doorway, while others were more measured, suggesting it was simply an unusual but natural rock formation. The battle lines were drawn. The internet was divided into Team Alien and Team Geology. But the sheer visual power of the image was undeniable. It tapped into a deep human desire for mystery, for the idea that there are still great unknowns left to discover. The video wasn't just a video anymore, it was a cultural event. You can't look at a giant, mysterious doorway carved into a mountain and not think of your favorite adventure movies. The internet certainly didn't. Almost immediately, people started making connections to the worlds of film and video games. The most obvious comparison was to The Lord of the Rings, Doors of Durin, the hidden Moria entrance. The Kazakh doorway had that same epic fantasy feel. It looked like a place where you'd have to speak friend to enter, a gateway to a lost world of treasure and danger. The pop culture references didn't stop there. Gamers saw it as Tomb Raider, Lara Croft's hidden tomb, a Sheikah shrine from Breath of the Wild, just waiting to be activated. Others compared it to the foreboding entrances from Uncharted, or even the classic 90s TV show Jungle Run. The image resonated so strongly because we've been primed by these stories to see mystery and adventure in such places. It's a visual trope that screams, "A quest begins here." Even science fiction fans got in on the action. The clean lines and imposing scale reminded many of the monolith from 2001, A Space Odyssey. Some imagined it as the entrance to a forgotten Jedi temple, or a forgotten Sith temple, on a remote planet like Tython, or Korriban. The structure's stark, minimalist design felt both ancient and futuristic at the same time, a hallmark of great sci-fi design. It was a doorway that could lead to Middle-earth, a high-tech alien base, or a lost city of gold. It was all things to all people. This connection to pop culture is a huge part of why the story became so big. These movies and games have created a shared visual language of mystery. The doorway wasn't just a geological feature, it was a screen onto which we could project our wildest dreams. Now, before we pack our bags and head for Kazakhstan, we have to talk to the experts. Geologists, psychologists have a very different take on this mysterious doorway. Their explanation isn't as exciting as ancient aliens, but it's grounded in science. The first concept they bring up is pareidolia. This is the scientific term for our brain's tendency to see familiar patterns, especially faces, especially simple shapes in random or ambiguous stimuli. It's why you see a face in the moon animals in the clouds or a smiling emoji in your burnt toast. It's a fundamental part of how our brains are wired. Our brains are pattern recognition machines. In our evolutionary past, this was a crucial survival skill. Being able to quickly spot the shape of a predator hiding in the bushes could mean the difference between life and death. So our brains became incredibly good at finding patterns, even when they aren't really there. A doorway is a very simple geometric shape, a rectangle. When we see something in nature that even vaguely resembles a rectangle, especially one that is large and imposing, our brain can easily fill in the blanks and perceive it as a perfect man-made structure. Psychologists also talk about the power of suggestion and expectation. When the video was posted with the question, "A doorway to where?" it planted a seed. We were told to look for a doorway, so that's what we saw. If the video had been titled, "Interesting weathering pattern on a cliff face," the reaction might have been completely different. Our perception is heavily influenced by context and what we expect to see. We are primed to find mystery, and so we interpret the visual information in a way that confirms that expectation. So according to the experts, the Kazakh doorway might be one of the most spectacular examples of pareidolia ever caught on camera. The combination of the shape, the deep shadows creating the illusion of a void, and the sheer scale makes it an almost perfect trigger for our pattern-seeking minds. So, if it's not aliens, what is it? Geologists have a fascinating answer, and honestly, it's all about time pressure and weathering. The Dzungarian Alatau Mountains are made up of various types of rock laid down in layers over millions of years. These layers have different levels of hardness and resistance to erosion. The doorway is likely the result of a geological process known as differential weathering. That's when softer rock erodes away more quickly than the harder rock surrounding it, leaving behind, these really unusual shapes. It's nature's way of sculpting, and it can create some truly mind-bending art. The process probably started with cracks, joints in the rock face. These are natural weaknesses that form due to tectonic stress or the cooling of molten rock. Water seeps into these cracks. In a climate like Kazakhstan's, with its freezing winters and hot summers, this water goes through a freeze-thaw cycle. When water freezes, it expands by about 9%, acting like a wedge that slowly pries the rock apart. Over thousands of years or even millions of years, this process of frost wedging can break down solid rock and carve out large sections, creating caves and alcoves. The perfect rectangular shape can be explained by the jointing pattern in the rock itself. Some types of sedimentary rock or volcanic rock like basalt can naturally fracture into blocky, rectangular shapes. If a softer layer of rock was sandwiched between harder layers that had a natural grid-like fracture pattern, erosion would attack the softer material first. The result could be a clean, boxy opening that looks remarkably artificial. The flat lintel at the top would simply be a more resistant layer of rock that hasn't eroded yet, forming a natural roof over the hollowed-out area below. This is actually how natural arches like the famous ones in Arches National Park in Utah are formed. While it's less romantic than a portal to another dimension, the story of its creation is still incredibly epic. It's a tale of immense forces working over geological time to create a masterpiece of natural sculpture, a testament to the patient and powerful artistry of our planet. To truly understand the mystery, you have to understand the place. The Dzungarian Alatau Mountains are not just any mountains. They form the northern and western boundaries of a historically significant mountain pass known as the Dzungarian Gate. For millennia, this pass has been a crucial corridor connecting the Eurasian steppe to the west, with the plains of western China to the east. It's a natural bottleneck, a narrow plain between two mountain ranges. It has been a highway for migration, trade, and invasion. This region is steeped in history and legend. It was part of the ancient Silk Road, a route traveled by merchants, monks, and armies. Genghis Khan and his Mongol hordes swept through this very pass on their way to conquer the West. Because of its strategic importance, the area has seen countless battles and has been home to numerous nomadic empires. It's a landscape that has witnessed the rise and fall of civilizations, a place where the echoes of history are palpable. The winds that blow through the Dzungarian Gate are said to carry the whispers of forgotten kings and warriors. The region is also tied to ancient myths. Some esoteric writers and historians have linked this area to the legendary land of Hyperborea, a mythical paradise said to be located in the far north, beyond the north wind. In Greek mythology, Hyperborea was a land of eternal spring, where the sun always shone, inhabited by a race of giants who lived for 1,000 years. While this is purely myth, the idea of a hidden, perfect world in this part of the globe has been a recurring theme in folklore. Finding a giant doorway here adds a tantalizing layer to these old stories. So when people see a mysterious gateway in these mountains, they aren't just seeing a rock. They are seeing it through the lens of centuries of history and myth. It's a place where the line between history and legend is already blurred. The Dzungarian Gate has always been a place of passage, a connection between different worlds. Is it so surprising that a formation that looks like a literal gateway would capture our imagination so powerfully? The location itself is part of the magic, adding a layer of historical weight to the geological mystery, making it feel like, well, anything is possible. The discovery has left the world divided, a fascinating debate. Those who embrace the mystery versus those who champion the scientific explanation. On one side, the believers. For them, this doorway is too perfect, too symmetrical, too intentional. They point to the clean lines and the sheer scale. On the other side, the skeptics. They're following Occam's razor. The simplest explanation is usually correct. A natural geological process is a simpler explanation than ancient civilizations or extraterrestrials. This isn't just about a rock in Kazakhstan, it's a classic clash. Faith and reason, mystery and evidence, the heart and the head. It's a conversation about how we choose to see the world. So here we are, at the threshold of this great mystery. We have a spectacular discovery that has captured the world's imagination. We have footage of a colossal doorway, standing silently in the remote mountains of Kazakhstan, a place already rich with history and legend. We've also listened to the voices of reason. Geologists have given us a compelling and elegant explanation, rooted in the slow, powerful artistry of nature. They've told us a story of ice-wind time and how differential weathering and natural fractures can conspire to create a perfect illusion. In the end, we are left with two compelling stories. One is a tale of myth and mystery, of a possible gateway left by giants aliens, a civilization lost to time. It's a story that invites us to dream and to believe that our world is filled with ancient secrets waiting to be found. The other is a story of science and nature, of the incredible power of geology to create breathtaking art. It's a story that invites us to marvel at the complex processes that shape our world and the fascinating ways our minds interpret it. Both narratives in their own right are filled with wonder. And so the question lands back with you. What do you see when you look at the Kazakh doorway? Do you see a portal to another dimension, a remnant of an alien visit, or the entrance to a dwarven kingdom? Or do you see a magnificent testament to the power of erosion and the quirks of human perception? Perhaps the truth lies somewhere in between. The only way to know for sure is to go there, to stand before it, and to feel its presence for yourself. Until then, the mystery